Hello everybody, my name is Buzzycombs, and welcome back to some more Minecraft Dinotopia. Today we are bringing back another dinosaur. Yes, you heard that right, we are doing a back-to-back dinosaur revival, because today I would really like to bring back our biggest dinosaur yet, the Diplodocus. So I'm going to shove it in the culture vat and let that start cooking while I start working on the enclosure. But before I start working on the enclosure, I actually noticed a little something in between episodes. Now, I really love this world, and so I often find myself wandering around and looking at all my dinosaurs because they're just so dang awesome, and I really adore this mod. But while I was checking in on my Ankies, a little something caught my eye. We have a fifth Anki! 6 Ankies, actually! There's a 6th Anki! Oh my gosh. So we have a couple of extra dinosaurs looking around, and I'm not the one who brought them to life. Because guess what? I forgot that dinosaurs could breed on their own. And so we now have 2 brand new Ankies, one of which is male and one of which is female. And they are both untamed, so I must amend that. And so I'm just going to grab a bunch of potatoes to stuff them full of food. Wait, that's not letting me tame her. Do I need to whip her? Oh, she fed herself on the feeder. Oh, I have to figure out a way to separate them from the food. Well, this is a pickle, but in the meantime, even if they can't be mine just yet, they are still deserving of names. So, our male will be Boulder, and our female will be Garnet. And now I need to figure out where exactly I want my Diplodocus to go. And I think this is a perfect opportunity to start crossing the river. And so, what I'm going to do is clear out this forest and dig out enough space to build the enclosure. Okay, so after 8 frickin' hours of chopping down trees and digging up dirt, I finally cleared out enough space for my Diplodocus enclosure. Now trust me when I say this, but ebony trees are such a frickin' pain to mine. I'm seriously considering resorting to arson next time, just so I don't have to worry about breaking every single secret block of wood that's hiding behind a million leaves. Now during that very extended period of time where I was clearing out all of that land, I had a lot of overflow, and so I decided to expand my storage into the attic of my barn. And so this is where we're going to be keeping all of our excess dirt as well as overflow wood. Now that I have cleared out my inventory, I'm going to grab a bunch of glass, some fences and the supplies to make more, some cobblestone pillars, and now I'd like to figure out what kind of shape I want for the enclosure. Now it's a given I'll have the entrance up front and in center, and I think I'll have it go all the way back close to where that little patch of dirt is. So with that in mind, I'm going to go on ahead and place all the pillars. Okay, so this is the size I would like for my enclosure. Now, the Diplodocus is a sauropod, and sauropods are really big, but I don't think I just want to make really tall glass walls to compensate for the height. Instead, I would like to dig down a little bit. That way we can look into the enclosure and be close to eye level with these massive beasts. There's a freaking underwater cave underneath all this land I'm digging out. So now I have to figure out where it starts, where it ends, and plug it all in. Okay, it's not as crazy as I thought it would be, so now I just have to fill it all in and then continue digging up all of the stone. Our lovely sauropod crater has successfully been dug out. Now it's time for us to start laying down the dirt. So I have finished filling in the bottom with dirt, and the grass has already started growing in. Sadly, we do have a little bit of a biome transition in the middle of the enclosure, but I have a little something in mind to make that work. But before I do that, I would actually like to add some fences to the rim, and now I need to make a proper way into the enclosure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a couple of pillars around here, and I'm also going to bring these pillars into the enclosure as well. Then I'm going to dig out a little space right here, add a cute little oak floor, add a rim of stone, and pillar up a bunch of fences to the very top, and then I'm going to add a fence gate right here. Now I'm going to surround all of this with fences, and of course add a fence gate to the top too. Now the last thing I have to do for the entrance is build a couple of ladders, and I don't just want to use plain old boring ladders for this. Instead, I'm going to throw these into my carpenter's workbench and make some of these really cute rope plank ladders. And let's put them down. Oh yeah, I definitely think it was a good choice. And now I'm able to get rid of this gross dirt staircase, add a couple of torches, And with that, I can happily call the enclosure complete. Now we have to adjust the interior. Because this enclosure is so big and we also have a transition in the biomes, I think it'll be nice to not have completely level ground. And where the biome starts to transition, I would actually like to bring it up by a couple of blocks. Alright, so I've brought up the ground by 2 blocks. And so now I'd like to make a little pond up on this upper half. And then I'd like to lead it through a small little river into another pond on the lower half of the enclosure. Now I'm going to pour a bunch of buckets and fill it up with water. And then I'm going to add a little bit of depth. And with the depth added, it's time for me to border the water with a bunch of dirt. And there we go, our little water source is complete. The next thing I'd like to do is sprinkle in a bunch of grass by using some bone meal. And with the ground all nice and covered up with flowers and grass, it's time for me to add a couple of trees. Now I've debated on whether or not I wanted to use spruce trees, and I actually decided that I'd rather like to do cherry because they are really tall and also very pink. And considering how I have a big pink theme going on, I think it's just a good idea. And even though the enclosure is very big, I honestly don't want to have too many trees around, so I'll probably just kind of sprinkle them along the edges. And I'm also going to have the white cherry trees on the bottom of the enclosure, with the pink ones at the top half. And now that I've placed all the saplings, it's time for bone meal. And with all the trees in place, I'd like to add some foliage in the form of leaves. Alright, so I've added the bushes to the perimeter. So the last thing I need to do now is set up the feeder. And I think, instead of setting it up back here, I would like to set it up near the front of the enclosure. That way the dinosaurs are more tempted to come up near the front. And with the enclosure finally complete, it's time for us to lay the eggs and wait for our first sauropods to hatch. And of course, we are now having a rainstorm in the middle of our hatching. Honestly, I feel like this is becoming a pattern. And there we have it, our 2 adorable Diplodocuses. I think that's the plural. I don't know. Anyways, one is female, and so is the other. So we now have 2 female baby Diplodocuses, and oh my gosh, they're so much tinier than I thought they would be. Look at that, it's so cute and small. But don't let their small size deceive you, because these guys are going to be massive, and that is exactly why we gave them such a big enclosure. Anyway, so now that we have our adorable new additions to the park, if you guys have any name suggestions, please leave them in the comments down below, and I will happily pick some. And now that I have my new dinosaurs, I would actually like to make it a little bit easier to cross the river. And so to do that, I am going to build a bridge. Now for the bridge, I would like to use a happy mixture of jacaranda wood with some cobblestone pillars and some gasite. And so now I'm going to try to bring the bridge all the way to the other side. Oh my gosh, there's a baby turtle! Hello! Oh my gosh, it's so precious and it's so cute and waddling around. Oh my gosh, I wish I could scoop it up. I wonder, can I put it in a bucket? I put it in a bucket! Okay, it is official. This terrapin is now mine. Anyways, back to the bridge. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give a little bit of grounded bridge on this side of the river. And I'm going to try to make it match exactly how it looks on the other side, just to maintain some nice symmetry. And there we go. Both sides are now successfully connected, but it could use a little bit of work to make it look a lot nicer. So what I'm going to do is, of course, add some pillars. And I think I'll have a pillar roughly every 3 blocks. So 1, 2, 3... pillar here. Oh, 1, 2, 3. Pillar here. And then I'll keep doing that for every 3 blocks. Wait, he just tucked his feet in. Will he do it too? Oh, he does! Oh my gosh, I just sent him flying! Wait, if I jump on a turtle? I can't. Oh my gosh! What in the world? I can't. Oh my gosh, they hurt. Good to know. Okay, so while the pillars are looking quite snazzy, we still aren't there just yet. And so what I'm going to do is add a slight gasite perimeter all along the bridge. Now, what I would like to do is just sprinkling a little bit underneath here. That way from below, it flows together just a little bit more seamlessly. And then I will also fill in what I can of the underside. And there we have it, a cute little bridge to let us cross safely to the other side of the river. And with the completion of my bridge, I would like to move on to naming my paras. Now, the first para I'd like to name would be Petunia, as suggested by my mom. The next one will be Tulip. And if you look around a little bit, I'm sure you'll notice that there are a couple more paras than I had originally. And that is because they bred more. And so we now have 6 paras, which means we have picked out 6 names for them. And funnily enough, Petunia and Tulip are the only females. And so the males will be named Poppy, Sakura, Orchid, and lastly, Snapdragon. thank you so much to everybody who left name suggestions for my paras. There were a lot to choose from, but I'm really happy with how the suggestions came out. Anyway, so this is the perfect point to end today's video. So if you guys enjoyed this episode on Minecraft Dinotopia, let me know by leaving a like and subscribe. And without further ado, thank you all so much for watching, and I guess I will see you all next time. Bye-bye! Okay. He's dead, out of the way, but... Oh, no!